September 27th, 2019.
This is Nerd Bourbon episode 121, take 2. I'm Seth Sturgill.
And I'm Todd Sturgill.
Nobody had to know. I'm too damned honest. This is our second take of this. For some reason, my laptop decided to make my recording mic my laptop mic out of nowhere, and I just couldn't bear to give you guys that level of quality. Got to get this crispy audio.
Mm-hmm.
Crispy like a Sprite. How you doing, Todd?
Living the dream.
You doing okay? I've been a little bit worried about how. Give us a poop update. How's your poop been?
It's not good, dude.
You still haven't.
I've passed some things,
Oh no.
but not all.
You haven't passed the almighty threshold.
I still feel my poop baby in here.
I just imagine you walking around your house like holding your stomach like a pregnant woman does, you know?
I kind of do. Dead ass.
Just like, you know how they have like their kind of one hand underneath the stomach and the other hand on top of it?
Mm-hmm.
Can you feel the baby kick?
Shit, I can feel it do something.
God, dude. So what's the game plan? You've taken laxatives. I'm worried about your bowels, Todd.
I'm not. I hope I die. No.
Do you think that this is like a recompense? Like your body's payback for all the years of fucking yourself up with spicy food?
You think this will be enough to stop me? It won't be.
Oh, I know nothing would be enough to stop you. If the doctor told you literally, Todd, like you have to cut back on spicy food or you
tell him
won't.
he can take my balls in his mouth.
How about this? You bring up balls, let me ask you this. If you went to the hospital, is it Todd? It's either we take your balls or you never eat spicy food again.
They take my balls.
Really? You would rather live as a eunuch? You'd rather be castrated than give up spicy food.
But I'll be living in my spice life.
You'd probably find somebody who's all right without those balls. They don't need them. What good are balls anyway? You know what I'm saying?
Other than the pain they cause.
There are these tyrannical balls are just too. They rule us. Oh, Todd, we got a good show lined up this week. We got some games to talk about. I in particular have been playing a lot of little games that we will definitely be taking a trip to Seth's Indie Corner this week. Against your will, you'll be whisked away there. I know you've got some more Monster Hunter talk to bequeath. That's a word. We got not a lot of news actually this week, but we are going to cover Sony's State of Play that happens. Got a lot of Sony news to cover, but before we get into all of that, constipated Todd, who I'm very worried about. I hope you pass. I hope you pass this soon. I really do mean that.
I need, honestly, I
want you to get those antibiotics,
dude. So I said that I was at work when I got that message. So
did you look for it?
No. I called my I'm not gonna like. So I called my mom. I was like, hey, do you want to pick me up some of the shit? She's like, oh no. I'm like, what?
Your mom was like that. Your mom was like that maid on Family Guy.
Well, no, it's like, and she's just like, your dad had a bad reaction to that stuff, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
I'm telling you, that's the only thing that helped me. That's the only reason that I did not have to get a colonoscopy.
And that's what I'm trying not to get. And it's just like, I feel like motherfuckers are not taking it as seriously. I haven't shit in like fucking like almost like a real good shit. I have shit.
Go to the store and get your damn self then.
Yeah, that's what the point is. I'm like, fuck.
Because
you're trying to get me killed here.
Because that's the thing. They didn't take me seriously enough either. And you know what's funny is I think we actually, if you go back into the annals of this podcast's history, I think I actually did talk about it one time. Like soon after it happened, I had a really severe colon obstruction that almost turned into like a full-blown colonoscopy and surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor was like, "Yo, take these like probiotics, and if that doesn't help, like come back and see me." But he recommended a line specifically, and essentially it just increases, like it just makes the bacterial culture in your colon like strengthen, and it helped me. It helped me pass it, and it was rough, but that was the only thing that helped me. So I don't know. You may need to just go grab that shit your damn self, because I'm telling you, that's what helped me.
It's like I don't give a fuck about any of the side effects or some bullshit. I just need to pass this fucking dookie.
For what it's worth, I had no side effects whatsoever. So it was literally just a pill that I took, and like on the second day of me taking it.
Can I tell you, I was sitting there yesterday before I went to work, and I'm just like sitting on the toilet. I'm like, just let me shit.
Oh, dude.
Just let me shit. It's like, bro, it's like the let me in. Like, let me shit.
The bargains that I made with the Lord above while I was sitting on the toilet, I'm just like, you ever get that where you're just like, oh my God, like, Lord, I'll never masturbate again if you just let me shit.
Which is a lie.
And he knows it's bullshit. That's why it didn't work. He's like, yeah, right. Give me something you're actually going to get. I'll give up steak. He's like, no, you're fucking not. But in that moment, dude, I swear to God, it was a vicious cycle of like me just literally crawling to the hotel bathroom, like sitting on the toilet, writhing in pain. Like, I'm completely naked. There were no clothes at this point. Clammy and sweaty, and it was like
the purest form of the nasty boy.
Dude, it was like I have never felt like such a primordial human. Like, I did not know what to do with myself, dude. And like, yeah, just like you, I took laxatives, nothing helped.
So I'll say this: I do think the laxatives helped me get a little shit out, but not the whole thing.
See, at least you got a little bit coming out, because like for me, it was nothing at all. So at least there's something. But I really, that's no joke. I really am worried about you and your poop baby. I really do want you to give birth soon.
Don't worry, we're due.
All right, well, let's talk about video games. Let's begin the show this week, as tradition dictates, the way we always begin it. Todd, what have you been playing?
Cue the music. It's Monster Hunter Talk now. I was actually in the middle of Monster Hunter Talk before we realized.
When I realized the fucking.
Yeah. So, I have now beaten Iceborne. I have credits rolled. Game never ended, because I'm going to get into the new end game a little later.
I was going to say, just because the credits rolled did not mean...
No, the game just... I'm sitting... I'll say this. As the game continued, I'm like, oh, that's cool, awesome, I beat the story, the credits are rolling. Oh, wait, what is this? Stop! No! No more!
Be gentle!
But yeah, So yeah, I think last week I did beat Velkhana. So the game is following, I think you made reference to it, is Velkhana felt like Azora Magdros in a bit, and that is kind of how it felt. Right. Because at that point you go to the elder dragon research, like you kind of do in the base game. Ended up fighting Black Veil Valhazak.
Right.
And great fight, really fun, cool ass armor. Other problem is, that's something I'm going to get into actually, just as a whole, real quick, is none of the armors that I have seen I give a shit about. I have made the most mixed set of life. It is unreal. I think most of my armor now, though, is rarity 11. Which is the second to last tier. Because rarity 12 is essentially all like the Elder Dragon shit. Don't give a fuck about it. Kind of just don't care about any of the gear. Shit, I looked up the Nergigante variant real quick, because I'm gonna be. I realized I don't think I'm gonna fight him till like master rank 100. So far into the end game.
Yeah.
So in a way, I've technically fought him, but not really. I realized something. I'll get into that story when I start talking about the final boss. So I looked it up, and I was like, let me see if even his armor will be worth, because that's kind of the thing. Like, Naragante's kind of had some solid armor in the base game. But I think, like, by the end of it, I only used the coil. And that is exactly what it seems like now. Like, I'd use the coil, and that is it. Like, the coil of the beta version, which has, like, better gems. So I'm, like, really disappointed with, like, don't get me wrong, all the armor looks good, but it's like weak. So the only other thing that I can like that can change my build right now, because I'm pretty solid with like my build right now. I have all my charge blade stuff that I need. I have my attack and my expert gems the way they are. I actually have guard level 3 now, which is something I never used before. It actually works really well with charge blade. But really happy with my build, really happy with my look. Got my Dragon King eye patch layered armor, so that it'll never leave my helmet slot again.
Very nice.
I will always have my eye patch. But yeah, back to the Elder Dragon. So you do Black Veil Valhazak, and then you got to do another bout of research for the next Elder Dragon. And I kind of see where it's going. It's like there's something going on in the Coral Highlands, because at this point, this one is essentially taking the place of, like, this is the Coral Highland Elder Dragon in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the one that I've talked about before without fighting it, is Namiel, the Abyssal Dragon. Let me tell you right fucking now. Love the design of this motherfucker. I don't even, like, Black Veil Valhazak isn't, like, too different. It is essentially Black Veil. It's basically Valhazak, but with a little extra flair. Nothing special in my mind, but Namiel's like fucking new to me, so I'm like, let's go. Cutscene was great. That's actually something I do gotta say. The cutscenes in this game are all good.
Is Namiel actually new to the series?
I don't know, dude. Like, that's something I need to look up, but it's new to me. So, I mean, I know about a couple of the returning things, because I'm actually like using like the slime boy that I call him, the Dios or whatever. I forget I actually pronounce his name, but I use his weapons and shit. And I was actually killing him last night. I was like, let me beat you with yourself. So Namiel is essentially a water-based electric, like thunder damage dragon.
Yeah, Namiel was first introduced in Monster Hunter World Iceborne.
So yeah, they did a fucking solid job. This is such a cool new Elder Dragon. It's like there's a cutscene. It's like calling it the Master of the Torrent. That's actually something it does. So like it'll expel water out, right, and like fucking suck you in like a fucking like whirlpool type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like cool. It's like, don't get caught up in the torrent, or like you're gonna get your ass fucked basically. And really fun fight. I only did one run of it. We actually were able to do it one run.
Very nice.
Close to dying, I won't lie to you. And it was like the one dude, he died twice out of 3 times, so it was a little scary. And the thing is, with an Elder Dragon, you gotta kill it. You can't capture it. You can't be bitch made about it like as soon as they start limping. But I need to talk about that booty blast attack that I saw like glimpses of, but now I've witnessed it.
Yes.
You can stop it, from what I understand, with a flash pod, and I tried. I fucking tried. I really did. Let me tell you that shit is... That's something that actually, a little tangent, is there's a lot of new AoE shit going on in the game. A lot of new AoE shit. And... oh my god. He goes up in the air and like the water torrent, right? Like it kind of starts sucking you in. You're like, oh shit. And that's the thing. You can still like use your flash pod like while you're getting sucked in. And I tried, but I wasn't quick enough. And I shot one out and it didn't work. And I'm just sitting there. I was just, bro, bee's dick of health. Like I should not have been alive. Like, here's the thing. If it was like an actual like damage over time status effect, like fire, I would have died.
It would have been fucked. Yeah.
I would have been dead. There was nothing I could have done. So it was bad. But we ended up killing it. And actually, something I really enjoy about the fight, like all the colors of Namiel, like you've actually seen the sort of color the dragon is. With I think I've sent you pictures of my Palico. I actually have the Palico armor, like it's that
Yeah,
really like
yeah, yeah.
jellyfish looking thing.
Well, shit. Even the wiki says like it has a lot of the characteristics of a jellyfish or a
Yes,
manta ray.
yes.
Yeah.
So whenever like it like expels the water, it kind of loses that color.
Hmm.
It just kind of becomes a little more bland, and I respect that. Like I think it looks really cool. Now the real question is, I don't know if I talked about my boy Beetlejuice you last week.
I think you mentioned that you like saw that he was coming, but I don't think you had actually faced him at that
You know what
point.
it is? You know what it is? I don't think I saw that he was coming. I think because again, dude, I was like, I've been sending you so many Snapchats of my dumb ass playing it. It blurs in what I've brought up on the podcast.
It blurs
when I
for
brought
me
up.
too. Yeah.
So this is a little backtrack. This is one of the first. This is kind of like and harkens back to like I think you fight the first Beetlejuice like the same way, like kind of like before the Elder Dragons.
Hmm.
Cause motherfucker feels like an Elder Dragon. So I'm I'm going to the old folks' home and I'm doing research. I'm doing an expedition and I'm finding footprints. It's like unknown footprints, and then I see the signs of a misfired old scale, and I'm just like, no, no.
Could it be?
Yeah, and it's actually I use the chess piece for this motherfucker is a seething Beetlejuice. Does a lot of cool shit. He does a lot of cool new shit. Like he drops like these I'm gonna call them like purple flowers, and they do bigger explosions. And
Okay.
he kind of like throws them out. There's another big AOE. He throws them all around the map. He flies up and just like dives down, does a big explosion. Not that hard to dodge, but it's dangerous. But the first time I fought him, I went back into the actual quest basically. Fired an SOS flare. Two people joined the quest but never joined. They both withdrew, and I just ended up soloing him without dying. I'm like, okay. I was like, if I knew that nobody was going to join, like people are too afraid of the. But yeah, I ended up soloing him without dying. It was a fun fight. And by the way, this is gonna be a pretty long Monster Hunter talk. I've played a lot of Monster Hunter since
No, I know
like
it's
one
dead
night.
ass been the main thing.
But the thing is also it's been like one. It was like one night I just fucking ran through it and finished it.
Just no life did, huh?
Yeah, it was. I think it was like it was the day I played with Tyler. It was I like basically beat it by the time he got on.
Got it.
Yeah. So at that point, you do Namiel, and then at that point, you start doing. They start talking about this old Everworm and shit, and like again, that's the whole thing. The mystery is like you're hearing the song in Iceborne. You think it's Velkhana, it's not Velkhana. It ends up being. You probably find the name of it, but it's like basically Inshura, like It's got a whole Indian based thing.
Interesting.
I respect the fuck out of it. Like it's like the armor is basic. It's cool. It's cool. It's got like a Hindu vibe.
Interesting.
But so that fight I can talk about in general. It's for a while, but I need to talk about this initial cut. So the whole cutscene, the cutscenes really involve like the tracker and like handler having like their moments together and shit for some reason. But there is one good moment, one good cutscene that I'm like, fuck yes, thank you. Is so you get to the old Everworm, the final boss basically comes out, and everybody's, oh shit, we got to get out of here. The tracker, the handler, and then our character is essentially like, nah, I got it. You're just doing like the fucking edgelord walk, like
No,
to
God
fight
bless.
to fight the thing, and I'm just like, yes, and. And they're like they're like, he's the best, the master, like the master hunter of the Fifth Fleet. I'm like, yes. I loved it. It's great. I wish I had the armor that I had now. I would have looked even cooler. So yeah, the final fight is like really two phases, and because it starts off, so it's this fucking dragon that has basically been like burrowing underground, fucking with like the lore of the Everstream and shit, messing with like all this bullshit. And he's just like, you see him, he's like just covered in rocks, right?
Uh huh.
Like you think he's just a rock, like just basically a rock dragon. Wrong. You sit there. It's like as you're fighting him, like he's basically weak to his chest and his head, and he essentially like he really plays off the weak point mechanics with the clutch claw, like just clutch claw the shit out of him and like do even more damage. And there's like ways you can easily break. So that's the thing. It's just a shell. I think you've seen what he truly looks like with one of my snaps. So you break the shell, and then it's like, oh, okay, phase 2, let's go. And that's when shit gets real. Shit gets really real, because he starts doing like basically like sound wave attacks, and
Oh shit.
it's like he does this one because his wings are like hands in a way. Like that's actually something fucking hilarious. Is if you're under him, he'll punish you for that. He'll like just fucking like use like one of his hand wings and slap the shit out of you. But he does like these super like powerful sound wave attacks, and just overall, like, I'm just like Xeno'jiiva is like whatever. Like I really like this fight. This fight is like really fun to me. The thing with Xeno'jiiva, I think Xeno'jiiva is kind of bullshit with like some of like the like AoE shit that Xeno does, but like in Shura, like I feel like it's all pretty fair. Like it's like if you get caught by it, it's on you. Like the one time I did die to it, like in one of the, I think it took me like 2 runs to do it. The first run that I died because I had Rocksteady, and Rocksteady, for people that don't know, Rocksteady essentially basically makes you like you don't react to damage at all. You take the damage, but you don't react to it, and that was the problem. He's doing the sound wave attack, and it's just you see my health go, so I'm dead. It was good. But I'm sitting there like at the end of the as the credits are rolling, I'm like, I actually do think this Takes the Cake is my favorite expansion of all time.
Just ever.
Because I think for a while there, it's like Old Hunters was up there, and Shivering Isles was up there.
Right.
But I do think Iceborne essentially does take the place for me. Take number 1. Because, dude, it is essentially a brand new game.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
It's an expansion, but, like, the amount of content is unreal to me. Like, we're just used to garbage expansions or just normal expansions. But this is dead ass a full game, and I'm just anybody listening. If you like Monster Hunter World, you like Monster Hunter, fuck with it. It's great. I love it. But now let's get into where the rape. I thought the rape was over. The new end game. The Guiding Lands. Instead, that's what it's called. So you do. So you get out like once the credits like roll or finish rolling. You end up doing like you basically go on another expedition and you find another fucking zone. Straight up another zone. And it's called the Guiding Lands, and it is essentially a version. It's basically mixed with the Ancient Forest, Rotten Vale, Coral Highlands, and I think probably the Elder Recess, maybe. I don't know. I haven't even seen the whole fucking thing because I haven't.
It kind of has a little bit of everything in
there.
there.
Yeah, it's basically all ecosystems together. It's all 4. It's like the 4 main ecosystems like all together. And here's the deal: is you have to level them up. So you got to level them up, like each area by themselves, because as you level up an area, another area will like lose experience, like lose level. It's a weird thing of like how you need to balance that and like get those leveled up to the point where you can do other investigations, get your do other quests, because as you level up, new monsters appear, and they are like a lot of returning monsters from the old games. Like, just to do shit that you haven't even seen yet. Like, in Monster Hunter World. So, there's still new monsters coming. Still new monsters. It's like, unfucking... That's basically what I was going to say. Is my build is basically good until I see these. Because I know all the Elder Dragon shit for the most part. Don't care about it. But now I got these other monsters that I got to get to now. There's, like, different variants of, like, fucking Rathalos, Rathian, from what I can understand. There's the returning monsters from, like, older games. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just sitting there, like, just flabbergasted, basically. I was like, what? The game's still going like this hard? Shit. And then I like looked up. I was like, let me see when because that's actually I totally forgot. I didn't even talk about it. So actually, before you fight the final boss, you fight Ruin or Nergigante, which is the new variant. That turns into the whole thing of like, oh, Ruin or Nergigante is like he's like a natural selection basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like any abnormality bullshit comes, Nergigante comes and basically tries to kill it, because that's actually something. Is you think so? You basically kill Inshura, right? And in the cutscene, has everybody in there, like the admiral, like the fleet commander, and all that shit. And motherfucker gets back up. He gets his eyes open back up. He gets back up, ready for round 3.
God bless.
Then Ruin or Nergigante comes and fucking kills him. Comes over and finishes the job, basically. And that turns into the whole thing of like, that's why you end up going to the guiding lands, because you're following Ruin or Nergigante to the guiding lands. And that's why it's called the guiding lands, because we were guided there. It's dumb as fuck. But so I think the main, because from what I understand is like you don't even fight Ruiner until like master rank 100, and I'm like my ass is like barely about to hit 40, so I'm like shit. So much game, dude. It's just so much fucking game. It is unreal. 10 out of 10. Would play again.
It will never end.
Oh, it's never gonna end, bro. It's. I feel like I'm at a point now where I can kind of like take my time. Really, I don't need to go like crazy, because I am in the end game. I mean, the only thing I'm really working on now is I need to just before I like really go hard on the guiding lands, I really want to go into it with a max leveled weapon, which is what I'm working on now. But yeah, that has been it for Monster Hunter Talk. You know, we're about 30 minutes in.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, get this man a Monster Hunter podcast, basically.
I honestly, dude, I would love to do one. Actually,
I'm sure they exist. I'm sure Monster Hunter podcasts are a thing, because they're Monster Hunter fans are definitely, they have a particular fervor. That's for sure.
I'll say this: I've gotten really dirty with my guard points again.
Nice.
And I'm really taking advantage of the fact that I at least got that 1 point of offensive guard. Bro, I love it. Like I've been just doing, because dude, it makes me feel cooler when I do a really good guard point, because it is like it gets a sound effect because the offensive guard procs, and I get a little like, it looks good. It looks good. I love it.
Very nice. What else has been going on in your world?
Borderlands.
Pretty much it.
That's really it. I mean, like, what can we really say about Borderlands other than like it's still pretty broken, still a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny though. The more time we spend, so we actually kind of looked last night after we got done playing. We're on chapter 18. Apparently, there are 23 chapters, so we're pretty close to the end of the game at this point. We're in like the mid 30s. With our level, I think we're level 34. Is that right?
We're like actually closer to 40, I think now.
Is that right?
No, I think we're like 35.
Yeah, we're in the mid 30s either way, and we're pretty close to the end of our first playthrough. And it's just the more I play the game, the more disappointed in it I am actually in terms of its performance. Like it's becoming more and more of a problem for me.
It's starting to get there for me, because I'm just like. I at this point, I think we talked about it last night, is like when we were playing, is like when we beat the main story, I kind of want to like take a break and then like won't go back to it until they actually have like the fucking like real patches.
I honestly think that's what I'm gonna do, because it is actively really starting to hamper my enjoyment of the game. Because I'll give you a good example. Like just yesterday when we were playing, the game was so broken that I could not see you on the map. I could not see your name. I had to... So, like, there's a moment where I got knocked out of bounds for a second, and then the little out of bounds, like, caution alarm just played continuously even after I died. I literally had to leave the game, and you had to invite me again. It was so bad. We had side quests that just, like, disappeared and, like, reappeared later. Yeah, it's just it's inexcusable. It really is inexcusable. And I understand that not everybody's having quite this experience, but everybody is having at least some technical problems. There is nobody who is just having a smooth experience with this game. Like even the people that I've talked to that sort of defend the game's performance, even they are like, "Well, yeah, I guess the menu is pretty shitty." and the UI is pretty shitty, and the map does kind of suck. It's such a bummer. Like, there's so many things to like about the game. And then also, something I forgot when we kind of really marinated on Borderlands 3 last week, I forgot to mention one of the other major annoyances for me is the bosses in this game. Because there are so many really cool bosses in this game, but they have added immunity phases to basically all of them. And holy shit. That has been so annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I don't even mean, like, I understand the whole, I think a lot of people are defending it, saying, like, oh, well, they have all these phases they want you to see, and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, dude. If I have the ability and the skill to kill a motherfucker quick, let me do it.
Yeah, it's going to make raids really annoying, because you know that once we get to the end game and the raid bosses and stuff, they're all going to have immune phases too. It's just really frustrating because, and you know, that's the thing is, like, you can't be so precious about something that you've designed.
Mm-hmm.
If you've designed, you know, all these cool phases, great. But like this is also a game that is all about the power fantasy. It's all about leveling up and getting more and more powerful. So why not reward the player for how powerful that they've worked to become by allowing them to fucking bypass all of your bullshit? So the immune phases actually have become pretty annoying. Whenever we fight a boss, I kind of, and that's the bummer. Some of the boss fights have been really cool.
Yeah,
but then
the immune phase just annoy the shit out of me.
I'm just like, oh, god damn it. It's just annoying. But these are all small complaints that we've talked about over the past couple of weeks at Borderlands 3, but they all really do just cast a big black cloud over what would otherwise be, like, honestly, no joke, if this game came out in a polished, smooth state, it would probably be one of my front runners for Game of the Year so far.
Mm-hmm.
Because the game itself is good, but it's just, I can't believe they released it in the state they did, and it's to the point where, like you said, I really just kind of want to get through the story and just see what's going on with the story, because the story is interesting. It's getting even more interesting the deeper we get into it. And so I really just want to kind of get through that, and then I just kind of want to just put it on the shelf until they patch it.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly. Because I'm sitting here like, I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I want to love this game. I want this to be like the main thing I'm playing, but I just get pissed off every time I play it. So it's a bummer. Yeah, so Borderlands 3 has been something for me whenever I hang out with you. I've been playing a little more Control, kind of slowly chipping away at that. You know, so it's funny. So I don't want to talk about this too long, because I know what your opinion is on mobile games. But I did decide to try out the free trial of Apple Arcade. So for those that don't know, Apple Arcade is sort of a subscription service, and Google Play has their own version of this shit now too, by the way, where it's like $5 a month and you have access to all of these like exclusive games. I decided to try out the free trial, and I gotta say, I am not a big mobile gamer either. Like, I keep like 2 games on my phone that I've had on here for like years, and I basically just use them like maybe if I'm on like a plane, or like maybe if I'm like, you know, waiting in a long line or something like that, I'll pull it out. So that's kind of or like on the toilet. That's usually when I play phone games. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, you know what, I'll try it. And I gotta be honest, there's been a couple games on here that are really, really good. So I don't want to like sit here and like really fully talk about Apple Arcade, other than to say that the launch lineup is really good. And you know, 2 games in particular that I've been really addicted to playing kind of every night before I go to bed is Grindstone, which is this really cool kind of like match 3 kind of RPG light game, puzzle game from Cappy, and then Card of Darkness, which is a really fun kind of like, it's another puzzle game, but it's kind of like card based, and it's got art from Pendleton Ward from Adventure Time. It's really good. So I want to recommend that. So that's, you know, mobile gaming is what it is, but I think Apple Arcade is an interesting initiative, and they really have gotten a lot of like really interesting developers on board with this thing for its launch. We'll see how it goes moving forward. You know, for the launch, they definitely have a really good lineup, but let's see how they go moving forward. The big thing, though, the big new thing that I've been playing this week is Link's Awakening on the Switch. The game that you would have played.
Can I tell you something?
What?
It'll piss you off, and I want to do it.
Okay.
Last time I was hanging out with Ronald, he brought up that game.
Yeah?
He's like, now that's Zelda.
Oh, God.
Now that's Zelda, not that Breath of the Wild.
Jesus. I mean, it's an opinion.
That's a shit opinion.
That's my comment on that. It's an opinion. Link's Awakening is a great game. So if you guys haven't been following, this is a full remake of Link's Awakening that they've done for the Nintendo Switch. Kind of got this interesting new art style to it, and it's kind of boring to review because it is, for the most part, a 1-to-1 remake of Link's Awakening. There are a few interesting things about it, though. So they've really made it a lot more streamlined now, where, you know, the original Link's Awakening was on Game Boy. There was a D-pad and there were 2 buttons. That was it. Mm. You know? So one big problem with Link's Awakening is you had to constantly go into your inventory. Like, a big mechanic is like the Rock's Feather to jump, right? But you also had to have your sword and your shield. Mm. So, like, if you wanted to jump, which you had to all the time, you had to go into your inventory, take off either your sword or your shield, put on the Rock's Feather, and now you can jump. Then when you want to attack again, you got to go back into your inventory. So it was, like, really tedious. Well, now that you're on the Switch, you've got all these extra buttons. That kind of is eliminated. They also added more heart pieces to the game. They've kind of, like, revamped a lot of the mini games. And it's interesting. Link's Awakening is a really unique Zelda game because it's really small. Like, it's kind of like a breezy, small, enjoyable, bite-sized little Zelda adventure. Because, you know, the game was on Game Boy, so it was like... It's like you just have a little world in your pocket. Like, you can really go from one end of the overworld to the other in, like, 5 minutes. It's not a big game. But it's really compact, and it has some of the best dungeons, I think, in all of 2D Zelda. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Now, I'm going to be a Debbie Downer a little bit, because, as is a common theme in video games here lately, this game has some technical problems. And I don't get it, especially from Nintendo, because Nintendo is usually so good about this. Like, that's kind of what you come to Nintendo expecting, is just a certain level of polish. And it really isn't anything major. So this game has one big issue. So in the original Link's Awakening, it was on Game Boy and it was grid based. So it was screen by screen, right? Like, it was the concept of screens. You would move to the edge of a screen, and then it would kind of transfer into the next one. This is completely open. It's all one big open world. There are no screen transfers. So sometimes when you move to the next quote-unquote screen, the frame rate will dip. Or it's really bad when you come out of a house. Like, when you come out of a house and you go into the open world, for a good, like, 5 to 10 seconds... it'll go from 60 to 30 frames. And that doesn't sound like it's that big of a deal, but it really is quite distracting. And it's even worse in handheld mode. It's even more noticeable. When you come in and out of houses, when you move to, like, certain locations, the frame will just literally just dip in half, and it's really distracting. Like, just enough to where I'm like, man, like, this is a Nintendo game, you know, there's really no reason this game shouldn't be running at a solid 60 the whole time. So I'm really, and this is the kind of thing that could be optimized in a patch, and I really sort of hope that they do, because it's really tiny, like, it's a really tiny little nitpick, but it is really kind of the only chink in this game's armor. This game otherwise is by far, like, the definitive way to play Link's Awakening. The frame rate issues are not a deal breaker. If you want to play Link's Awakening, you should have. It's worth the money for sure. Like, I think it's a fantastic game, a fantastic kind of reimagining of a great Game Boy game, and one of my favorite Zelda games. But it's like, dude, I don't understand. These games, you don't need to release them so early if they need more polish. Like, I think I was actually predicting before they revealed the September release date, I was thinking Link's Awakening was going to be like December. And now I kind of wish it was, because that's... If it took an extra few months to get that Nintendo standard of polish, I would have waited. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I buy a first-party Nintendo game, I know that it's going to have a certain level of polish. And I'm not saying that this game is broken. It's gorgeous. Like, the game looks and sounds amazing. Like, it's one of the prettiest Switch games, I think. And the way that they have reimagined the soundtrack of Link's Awakening and kind of fully orchestrated it, it looks and sounds beautiful. But then every now and then you get these weird frame dips that really kind of take you out of the experience. So, in other words, what I'm saying is, the game is great, but it could have been really transcendent. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And it has been a really, really good time to just kind of like fall back in love with Link's Awakening. Because I haven't played through Link's Awakening in years. Like, they re-released it on the 3DS back in like 2013 or some shit. And I played through it again then. But that was the last time I'd played it. So it's been years since I've played Link's Awakening. It's been a lot of fun kind of revisiting it. Another game that I've been playing. So I have not had a chance to play Untitled Goose Game yet. I own it. I bought it. It is on my Switch. I've been really busy this week and I haven't had a chance to play it. But I did make time, if you want to come with me for a split second, to a Seth's Indie Corner.
No!
Come with me, bitch. I did make time to play through Sayonara Wild Hearts, which is a new rhythm game. I've been kind of talked about it a few times on the show. It's a game that I've been kind of looking forward to. And it's weird, man. Like, it's not at all what I thought it was going to be. I thought that this was going to be kind of just like a trippy kind of like rhythm game, and I guess it is, but like, it also isn't really a rhythm game. Anastasia was watching me play. My wife, she was watching me play, and she was like, this game's fucking weird. Like, how would you describe this? And I was like, it's kind of like an interactive album.
Weird.
Like, it's sort of like, imagine having a collection of really good sort of trance, techno, EDM music, and it has kind of a concept, a concept album. It has like a story behind it. And you're just kind of playing through it. Like, there are objectives, there is a score to chase. Like, there is a way to, like, fail. It is a game, but it's not like a traditional rhythm game. You're not really doing anything into the rhythm of anything. It's weird. Like, I really do feel like it's sort of an interactive album is the best way I can describe it. And there's this weird story about, like, this... It's all, like, a big metaphor for this girl, like, dealing with her past relationships and stuff like that. And it's, like... But it manifests itself in these crazy anime, like, you're on the back of a motorcycle shooting at this giant, like, mech wolf and shit like that, while it's playing this, like, techno, and it's EDM music, and it's fucking trippy as hell. It's interesting. But it was not what I thought it was going to be. I liked it, but it was one of those things where, like, I played through it once, and I was kind of like, I don't think I'll ever play through this again.
It's like, I'm good type of shit.
I'm kind of good, and I played it on Switch, and that was cool, but I'm kind of wishing, so they have the game actually on Apple Arcade. It's one of the games that you can get on Apple Arcade, and part of me is like, I kind of wish I just played it for free there, and just played it on my iPhone. Because I almost feel like it would be better suited as that sort of experience, rather than a kind of sit down, let's really dig into a video game. It's not really like that. I think it's kind of better suited for the phone experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would kind of recommend it in that setting. Like, if you have Apple Arcade, or if you have, it may be on Google Play also, I'm not sure. But if you have that stuff and you have that way to play Sayonara Wild Hearts, I'd recommend it in that scenario. But I don't know that I'd recommend, like, really, like, sitting down. You're gonna beat it in like an hour and a half, I really do equate it to sitting down and, like, listening to an album. That's how I felt. I felt like I was basically just enjoying a concept album that I was also playing. So take that, with what you will. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. Untitled Goose Game I will talk about next week, because I really do want to play it. I've heard great things. And I have it. It's just taunting me on my Switch, sitting there. So I will make time to play that, but that's pretty much all I've got in terms of what I've been playing this week. If you're ready to move into a news-oriented direction,
Let us begin.
let us begin. So it's been kind of a light news week. There's really a bunch of Sony stuff for me to talk about and not much else. Before I get into that, though, I do want to just say this will have already happened by the time you guys are listening to this, but it's happening tomorrow at the time we're recording this, and I'm sad that you're not going to be home to watch it with me. There is going to be a Star Wars live stream happening at 1 o'clock our time on Thursday, the 26th, so yesterday at the time everybody's listening to this. You will be at work at that point. So that's what bums me out. And I'm like, man, because the main point of the live stream, they're going to talk about the Triple Force Friday stuff, which I know you don't care about. That's the nerdy shit that I care about, the Star Wars figure collecting. But they're also going to have some Rise of Skywalker stuff where they're going to have a lot of the actors there for the event. And they're going to, I think, show clips from the movie. And they're also, the most important thing probably, to us, is they will be debuting a new trailer for Jedi Fallen Order during the event. And they're kind of teasing, I don't know, like the Jedi Fallen Order Twitter posted a little teaser, and they're kind of teasing that Vader's going to be in the game. And like, I'm getting a little tired of it. I'm getting a little sick of it.
I don't think they needed to actually have Vader in the game.
I don't know for sure if that's what it is, but it sure does seem that way.
I mean, it's not like it doesn't make sense because he doesn't need to be in there.
Well, like here's the deal, right? Like this new character Cal Kestis, who is in canon, like he pretty much has to die at some point. I don't know if it's going to be in this game or if they're going to try to make a trilogy of it or something like that. But at some point, Cal Kestis basically has to die, right?
Yeah.
He's not going to make it like into the sequel trilogy or whatever. Like he's not alive.
Imagine if he did, though. No.
So I'm sort of like, are they going to make it one of those things where at the end of the game you're killed by Darth Vader or something like that? That could be interesting. I could see that happening. But I'm also just sort of like between, like, why can't we just do some of these spin-offs without feeling like we have to include like Darth Vader? Because we talked about this. You can go back and listen to our episode of Relapse when we talked about Rogue One. I love Rogue One, and I love Darth Vader in Rogue One. I think we get some really cool Darth Vader moments, but I feel like the movie did not need him in it. Like, I do really firmly believe that the movie did not need Darth Vader in it, and this game does not need Darth Vader in it. So, we'll see for sure when we actually see this trailer exactly what's happening, and we'll probably talk about it next week. But yeah, that's happening in the world of Star Wars. So, either way, I can't wait to play that game when it comes out November 15th. But let's talk. So, did you get a chance to actually sit and watch the State of Play, or did you just kind of skim the headlines?
Skim the headlines, and the only thing I really did watch was the trailer of a certain thing.
Okay. So yeah, so Sony did hold another. We reported on this last week when they announced it. They did hold another State of Play event this week, and of course, we're gonna go over some of the highlights. It was around 20 minutes long. It's actually funny because it featured So they said they were gonna have like a new look. I'm gonna be dead ass. They straight up, they don't even care anymore. They just completely ripped off of Nintendo Direct.
Oh Lord,
it's hilarious. Like if you actually watch it, it's so directly lifted from Nintendo Direct. It's like kind of sad. Like just the format of it, where they have like the kind of like square, like where they kind of talk about it for a second and then move on to the next square. It's weird. But the State of Play cold opened with a reveal trailer for this strange-looking game. It's called Humanity. And this is a new game from Tetsuya Mizuguchi's studio, Enhanced Studio. And it looks strange, to say the least. It's like this weird, like, trippy kind of music game where you just, I guess, control just a bunch of people. Like you just see a bunch of like humans like running around, and like there's like it's all happening to this sort of like techno beat, because Mizuguchi's like pedigree, he's sort of this legendary developer in this sort of realm. He's made games like Rez and Tetris Effect and Child of Eden, so we can sort of assume that humanity is going to be like at least somewhat in that vein, where it's going to be some kind of music game, but you're controlling like just these sea of people who are like fucking like crashing into each other. It's just weird, man. It's weird looking. So that game launches sometime in 2020. And, I'm going to at least keep my eye on it because I've really enjoyed Mizuguchi's stuff in the past. So I'll go with him on this weird body horror journey. Whatever the fuck this is. So I'm curious if you heard about this. So there's a new trailer that they showed for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, a game that you're very excited about.
Mm-hmm.
So this trailer primarily showcased the game's campaign. So it was actually kind of a cool campaign trailer. I gotta say, they've really ramped up the production effects on Call of Duty's campaign. I mean, it really did kind of look like a movie trailer. Like they've really kind of stepped their game up, I feel like, with this one from a graphical perspective. And just like a facial animation and stuff. I was really kind of impressed by the trailer. It was interesting because they also highlighted the fact that PS4 is getting a timed exclusive mode.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, so the game has Spec Ops. No matter which version of the game you play, Spec Ops is one of the sort of pillars of the game. That's the co-op sort of pillar. But
yeah, it's going to be the Horde mode, basically.
Yeah, the survival mode is going to be PS4 exclusive until October 1st of next year. So that's cool. I know you're playing the game on PS4 anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant to you, but I know, Xbox gamers are probably going to be upset about that.
No, they're crying.
I'm sure they are. This is not uncommon for Call of Duty. As a matter of fact, I think for a long time there, up until Ghosts maybe? Mm-hmm. I think Xbox was the one getting the timed exclusives.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, for Call of Duty. So it's not like this is anything new. It's just, I think it really just depends on who writes the largest check to Activision when the new Call of Duty comes around. At that point. So we got a new trailer for Watam. Watam is the next game from Keita Takahashi, who you may know as the creator of Katamari. And so that was shown. They've been kind of dark on that game for a while. I've been looking forward to it because of who's making it, and they've been dark on it for a while. So we finally got a new trailer shown, and the game was given a December release date. So I can't wait for that. Just the game looks cute as hell. Like the game just looks colorful and cute and happy, and very much Katamari is kind of similar in that tone, and I'm very into Keita Takahashi's just the vibe of his games. I'm very into. So I'm very excited to play some Watam. That's going to be the perfect December game. Just a cozy Christmas game. Very into it. This looked really cool. So they showed a trailer for this interesting indie game from Piccolo's studio. The game's called Arise. Arise, A Simple Story, which is a pretty dumb subtitle, but that's beside the point. And it kind of looks like this really pretty kind of like adventure game where you play as this man. He looks like he's sort of like in this, maybe it takes place during kind of Viking times or something like that. He's sort of nomadic in any case, and he has died. So the trailer opens with the man that you're playing as being burned at his funeral pyre. Okay? And the bulk of the game follows you in the afterlife as you sort of journey through this like metaphysical representation of this man's life. It's kind of cool. Like it's kind of intriguing looking. Like he's kind of working through his life represented in various locales and stuff. It's a cool looking trailer. I recommend it. And this is a new studio. This is their debut title, and it's coming out December 3rd, and looks like it may be one to keep an eye on. I know you don't usually play a ton of indie games, but from a visual perspective, this is certainly something unique. We got a trailer. They revealed that Civilization 6 is coming to PS4 on November 22nd. So for fans of strategy games will be happy to hear that. Civ 6 is an insanely popular turn-based strategy game, and the series has traditionally translated pretty well to consoles in the past. So again, I'm sure fans of that series will be happy. Todd, you and I both don't really care about strategy games.
No, not at all.
Every so often I'll find a strategy game that I enjoy, but it is few and far between. I normally do not get into them. So I kind of glossed over that, but I know there are fans of Civ out there. Civ is certainly a popular series, and people look forward to that. A limited edition Death Stranding PS4 Pro bundle is coming just in time for the game's November 8th launch. It's got this, how they had, the handprints all over, Norman Reedus' chest and stuff. Looks like they're getting grabby with them. It's basically got that design. The, dripping handprint design all over it. And it's got this actually really cool-looking DualShock, where it's, the DualShock is gold, but it's also clear plastic. So it's, gold, clear plastic DualShock. You can see the insides of it. It's cool looking. I dig it. So yeah, that's coming out for folks who are into that PS4 Pro bundle. A demo is being released for the Medieval remake, and the demo was shadow dropped actually during the stream. So the demo will be available until October 6th, and if you play through it, it will net you a helmet that you can carry over into the final game when it releases on October 25th. I have this demo downloaded, have not checked it out yet, so I will be doing that soon, and I'll probably talk about it next week on the show. Either way, I am looking forward to that game. Did you ever play Medieval back on PS1?
Nope. If I did, I don't remember.
Falls into that Todd in the middle category?
Yes.
A game you did play, Todd, L.A. Noire. Speaking of shadow drops, L.A. Noire, the VR case files, was also shadow dropped during the stream. A PSVR sizzle reel was shown, showcasing a bunch of upcoming PSVR titles. Now, you have a PSVR, correct?
Yeah.
Have you ever messed with it?
Maybe.
At all?
Possibly.
What'd you play?
I didn't.
That's so funny. You don't want to step into the boots of Cole Phelps in the LA Noire VR case files?
It's a lot of work.
It is. All those cables and shit. Did you open up the box and just say nope and then put it back?
Yes. Yeah.
That sounds about right. You know what? That's kind of what I'm waiting on. When PS5 rolls around and they release a more streamlined PSVR, I'll literally pay you an extra $100.
I swear.
If you just get rid of all that shit. Just streamline. I just want to plug in one cord or whatever and just hook it up and it just works. I don't want to hook, it comes with a separate HDMI splitter and shit like that. I'm no. I'm good. Good on that. By the way, LA Noire has one of the weirdest, worst video game endings maybe of all time. So
we don't bring that up. That is the dumbest shit.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, and it was weird too, right? Because wasn't there spoilers? I guess for LA Noire, the game's pretty old. Wasn't there a point in the game where they made it a major plot point that he cheats on his wife?
Yeah.
Or something like that. But it felt weird as you being the player because you're well, I was just playing the game. You're telling me that between the scenes he was just cheating on his wife this whole time?
Yeah.
Just a weird vibe. It's that weird dissonance, between player choice and what the story they wanted to tell.
And totally could have been saved.
Yeah, at the end, he's sitting there in the sewers, and the sewers are about to flood, and they completely could have saved him. And he just gets whisked away by the water, and I think he says "thank you" or something like that, doesn't he?
Some dumb shit.
It just dies like a bitch. What a strange. Shit, and it's actually funny because I actually really liked the detective gameplay of that game.
Yeah, it's great.
I actually had fun with it. But then the story was just so asinine. October's PlayStation Plus games were revealed, Todd. This month, or rather in the month of October, MLB 19 The Show and The Last of Us Remastered will be available for free to all PlayStation Plus members. So, you gonna get your baseball mitts on?
No.
Play a little MLB 19 the show?
Not at all.
Come on, Todd. Bro, when's the last time you
No.
played a sports game?
Like 10 years ago?
Probably like making a character on like Ronald's like NHL game or whatever.
Oh, that dead ass is it. Like, you remember that shit?
Yeah, I remember you sending me a picture of some character you made.
It was an abomination.
That was probably literally the last sports game you ever played.
It's probably at least like 5 years ago, probably.
At least, if not longer. Finally, the show ended with the reappearance of The Last of Us Part 2, which we have not properly seen since E3 2018. They show us a new trailer, kind of, showcasing, what I've always been saying, Naughty Dog at the top of their craft, proving once again that they are indeed the best developers working today. But I want to talk to you, though, about the end of the trailer. Because finally, the end of the trailer sort of answers a question that fans have been asking since the game was first revealed. Where is Joel?
Yeah.
We finally get to see Joel at the end of this trailer. So that was cool. Yeah, it's funny because, like, I kind of feel like I'm kind of good now. Like, now that we've seen that, I'm kind of like, all right, I don't think I want to see anything else until the game comes out.
You really wanted to know if he was, like clarification if he was alive or dead.
Well, because there were a lot of fan theories, because we saw that very first trailer where we're here, we kind of see, in air quotes, Joel, and we hear his voice, but we don't know what's going on exactly, and a lot of people are like, oh, is Joel dead? And Ellie's just, like, fucking crazy, and she's, like, kind of haunted with her own, like, mentality of him and stuff like that. Is Joel a bad guy in this game?
And there are people overthinking shit.
Well, and then there was also, like, the E3 2018 footage that we saw, where it was kind of this, like, dance hall happening, and she's talking to this guy. Ellie's talking to this guy, and he mentions, like, your dad. And you assume that they're talking about Joel, but you don't know for sure.
Yeah, it's Joel.
So, and then, yeah, now we full on, we see Joel in the flesh saying, like, I'm not going to let you do this alone, basically. So, Last of Us Part 2 is going to be sort of the inverse, at least at some point in the game, where it is going to be you controlling Ellie with Joel sort of as the NPC character, it seems like.
Yeah.
So the game is not too far off, Todd. It's coming February 21st, 2020, which is pretty much right in line with what we expected. We were sort of thinking February for the game. I actually was sort of like, maybe it'd be smarter to put it later, but I think February is a good spot. February is a good spot for it. And I'm definitely hyped. It's going to be the first few months of 2020 are going to be fucking absurd, dude. Like, it's megaton games. Think about it this way. You got The Last of Us in February, Animal Crossing in March. You've got Cyberpunk in April. You've got Watch Dogs Legion in March. You've got Final Fantasy VII Remastered in March. These are huge, massive games that are coming out in the first, 3-4 months of the year. It's going to be intense. I'll say this, 2020 is already looking, the first half of 2020 is already looking better than the first half of 2019. So, what did you think of that Last of Us trailer? I'm assuming that's the trailer that you watched.
Yeah, it was alright.
Oh, bitch, please.
Talking shit, it was good.
Bitch, please.
I'll do that bit till the day I die.
Can't wait, dude. So fucking pumped for that game. Every time we see it, I'm just like, yes! It was funny, I saw one of the game developers I follow on Twitter. He's like, every time Naughty Dog releases a new trailer, I'm just like, what's the fucking point? I'm never going to be as good as them, basically. So, one last bit of news here that I kind of wanted to talk about. I think this is really interesting and might actually be a bigger deal than at first glance. So, this is another Sony-related piece of news. So, it seems like Sony is already starting to smell GameStop's blood in the water a little bit. Like a shark chumming for blood, Todd. Because this week, they launched an online storefront where you can buy PS4 consoles, DualShock 4 controllers, PlayStation headsets, PSVR bundles, first-party physical games, and more directly from Sony themselves.
Oh.
Undercutting the retailers altogether. Just buy them from us.
Fuck.
And as a matter of fact, there's even a bundle that they're offering that is a PS4 Pro and a 12-month PlayStation Plus subscription that you can get at a discount. So, obviously, this just launched, like, today, at the time of this recording. Very new, obviously in its kind of newborn stage. But I'm, like, imagining, like, Sony is going to start offering, like, exclusive deals and discounts. And, like, maybe there will be special DualShock designs or maybe special PlayStation designs or even other perks that are going to incentivize customers to buy directly from them. It's like, why even buy my shit from GameStop anymore? Just buy it from me.
Yeah.
You know, they could, if they're cutting out GameStop's cut, they could afford to sell it to you for cheaper.
Yeah.
So it's like they could stand to be like, hey, like if you buy this, buy this PS4 from us, we'll like take $20 off, free shipping or something like that. And it's like, why would I ever step foot in a GameStop to buy a PS4? It's really interesting because Sony has been sort of an interesting litmus test lately of like abandoning ship from dying things. You know what I mean? Because they dipped out of E3, and it's like, okay, Sony abandoned ship there, and now they're kind of saying fuck GameStop a little bit.
As all people should.
They're sort of like, they're sort of saying like, all right, it was a good run, but now you can just buy your shit from us. It's a really shrewd business move, man. And like, obviously, third-party games are a different story, but like, I could go on there right now and buy basically any first-party Sony game that I wanted to physically, just right there, just directly from Sony. It's pretty strange. I was surprised to read this because I didn't think people were actually going to abandon the retail market this quick. It's not a good sign. It's not a good sign, man. And I feel bad too. I don't know if you saw this. So like GameStop, we were talking on the show maybe a couple weeks ago. GameStop was doing kind of a redesign. Like they're putting like, retro consoles and couches and TVs and stuff in some test stores.
Yeah.
There was a leaked video where they showed off some of that stuff, and it actually looks kind of cool. Like they kind of made it look like more of a department store where they have like, they don't just have random racks of like shirts. They're actually kind of laid out nicely, and they have like nice couches and nice TVs with like Game Cubes and Xboxes hooked up to it, But it's like, it's too late. It's too late. I'm to the point where I'm just like, man, I wonder if they're even going to make it to the next console cycle the way that they're hemorrhaging money like this.
Oh my god, dude, my dick is like so hard right now.
I feel bad. I was like just talking to like, some friends that work there. They're sort of hopeful that they'll hold out, but I'm just like, I'm not even sure at this point. God. The way that they keep posting these losses and, more and more stores are closing and just... I just feel like we're just seeing like just a long-winded funeral for GameStop.
Yes.
And again, Sony here making this really, again, shrewd business move. They're sort of just like, all right, like let's leave it in the dust. It's been a good run, but we can clearly see where this is headed, so let's go ahead and...
Let me tell you right now, this was the equivalent of Sony's Scar, GameStop's Mufasa.
Basically.
Long live
the king. And I love it. I guess I'm Simba.
We're all Simba. Except me, I'm not Simba. I'm up there with.
You're one of the fucking hyenas. You're fucking. What's his name? Ed. There you go. That's pretty much what I got, Todd, for the news. I hesitate to end on a dismal note like that, but that's what I got. So we'll carry out the rest of our week in silence as PlayStation lands the killing blow, basically. Fucking, you know what though? Real quick before we wrap up the show, you know what annoys me? I just want to go on this tangent that only I care about. Fucking Target, man.
What?
Fucking Target, bro.
What about Target?
Triple Force Friday. It's right around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Right around the corner. Me and all the other fucking Star Wars nerds want to roll our fat, homunculus asses into their store at midnight. We want to try to squeeze our misshapen forms through their doors. And they won't let us do it. They're opening regular business hours. They're going to make us wake up early.
Oh, poor bitches.
I'm not sure. So, for full context, the nearest Target to me is about 45 minutes away.
You know where the nearest Target is for me?
Like, you can throw a football to it, basically. I've been there. Here's the deal. I'm like, the last time I did this was when the Jigglypuff amiibo came out. It was a Target exclusive. And I went up there like in time for them to open. And part of me is like, should I do it again? Should I go there to make sure I get my Star Wars toys? I don't know. The way Hasbro's been treating us, I think I may have to. That's beside the point. You could go in there. You could waltz in there and get whatever the fuck you wanted.
I could.
You're a fucking privileged bitch.
Oh, I'm a city boy.
Anyway, Todd, that's all I got this week. You got anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
I think that's about it, man.
Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next week. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.
Hey there, thanks for checking out another fantastic Nerd Bourbon video. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, be sure to go ahead and subscribe, leave us a like, drop us a nice comment, or I guess a mean one if that's your prerogative. But until next time, get dunked on.